I hope no one minds. I made myself at home.
Don't mind at all. It's good to have you. Tell us a bit about yourself, Giada.
Let's see. A few things about me. I enjoy long conversations, and my favorite season is autumn. Apparently, I also snore, which annoys some people.
So do I. Glad it won't just be me now. We should pitch our tents on either side of Marius. The drone really helps him sleep.
Right, that's me. And the first rule of camp is never listen to Kai. He's a blessed Nimdude of the highest order.
If anyone needs their soul tinkered on, don't hesitate to ask. I'm rather good with souls.
I'll take your word for it.
Thank you again for letting me join you. An Animancer never misses an opportunity to embrace the unknown. Still, being an Animancer feels different without Fior Messiverno. For the first time, I don't have to prove myself to anyone. You're forgetting all the bridges I burned on my way out. No, that part of my life is over. At least now I have a place I can call my own. Believe me, that's plenty. Not to change the topic, but this little adventure of ours, will it be dangerous? Just making sure I know what I signed up for. My mother and father taught me how to defend myself, among other things. When you need me, I'll be ready. I hope so, anyway. You know me. Always ready with an answer. Ah, you want a story? Very well. Settle in. It all started about 50 years ago, in the great city of Spirento. A young nobleman by the name of Maxim Vidaro sought to inherit a distinguished government position. I should have known you'd be schooled in political intrigue. But I'll wager you don't know how this story goes. A distant cousin cheated Maxim out of the title. He was devastated, his political future uncertain. No one lifted a finger to help. Not the banks, not the merchants, or the politicians. So, Maxim did what Valians do best. Precisely. They say he prayed to Scan, the effigy, god of rebellion and defiance, to ask for a blessing. And Scan answered. Take their best and brightest, their heirs, their scholars, their futures, to the far side of the world, never to return. And Maxim did just that. He gathered a following and left the Valian republics, giving thanks to his dark god. We prefer to call it an intellectual haven of free thinkers, but it's true that most of us are Animancers. Spirento was full of Animancers, many of them in debt, and Maxim was a wealthy patron. They needed each other. So the Animancers followed Maxim all the way out here, including my parents, Quilici, and others around town. At the time, this place was an Animancer's dream. No oversight, limited government, and soil rich with essence. 40 years later, Maxim vanished. They say the effigy came to collect his soul. Nonsense, of course. His son has been in charge ever since. For better or worse. His father had the advantages of growing up in Valian society. So did mine. He and I might squabble in public from time to time, but We're both just figuring it all out as we go. Thanks for listening. We should do this again.
I love a good ghost story. Just not the dreams I have afterwards.
Hadn't heard all that before. Probably a lesson or two in there.
One of these days you'll have to tell me an Adiran ghost story. You learn a lot about people by what scares them. Let me think. Quilici has a girlfriend, as cute as a button, and as smart as an archmage. That isn't a secret. I'm just happy for him. Have you heard of the incident at Beldereno Pass? 20 settlers lost their lives in a winter storm. Ever since, people have heard ghostly cries from a nearby cave. Fascinating, isn't it? Tragic, of course, but fascinating. Of course. Anything in particular? What are you so curious about? Anyone in particular? I warn you, I'm not the best judge of first impressions. Kai is a useful fellow. We need people like him to keep you grounded. Just not too grounded. On the surface, Kai is all charm and confidence. You feel good knowing he's around. But there's something deeper. Something in his core that he guards from everyone. Maybe even himself. Oh, not at all. Kai is a sweetheart. And if that's who he chooses to show us, then that's who he is. If there's another side to him, he'll show us when he's good and ready. No need to rush a natural process. Marius is working through something. An old wound that hasn't healed. A search for forgiveness? Who knows? He's a tough fellow, but I wouldn't put too much pressure on him. Good question. Mental and emotional pressure, specifically. Marius could hunt the great western stag if he set his mind to it, but his own feelings elude him. When he wants to find himself, give him room to do so, but don't push him. Just be there to catch him. We haven't been together long, but I think I have you figured out. In Paradise, you killed your killer. Some would call that justice. Others would call it vengeance. But who am I to judge? In your shoes, I might have done the same. Your Messi Verno tolerates you well enough. No doubt thanks to my influence. Of course, all I know is what you've done. You may not think these choices reflect who you are. At the end of the day, you shouldn't care what anyone thinks. All that matters is how you see yourself. I've spilled all the gossip I know. Ask me again when there's a new face in camp. I suppose you deserve to know, after what I put you through. My mother wanted to expand Fiore's agriculture. Feeding Emerald Stair wasn't ambitious enough. She wanted to feed the world. She thought she could break the wilderness, using animancy as the whip. Turn the living lands into a garden. Yes, as something always does. After my father put the finishing touches on the phantasmal focus, she was impatient to get started. After all, whoever controls the spirit of the living lands has nature in the palm of their hand. My father thought so too. Emerald Stair was just the beginning to her. My father thought she was brilliant. Others thought she was mad. I think she was a victim of her own ambition. She wanted so much, and there was so little time to achieve it. Theoretically, her plan should have worked. But the living lands had other ideas. When she used the phantasmal focus, theory collided with reality. Everything went wrong. No. To my knowledge, the accident was no everyday occurrence. But neither was the experiment. My mother transgressed on nature, on existence itself. Still, I don't understand what went wrong. When I do, then I can finish her work. I can't rule anything out, but I suspect the Dream Scourge had something to do with it. It lives in the essence of the living lands, corrupting whatever it touches. And if I'm right, that means it's been here a long time, or the forces behind it. I was 17. That makes it... Gods, has it been 13 years already? After they died, I wouldn't go near a lab. It was ages before Kolichi got me to crack open a book. I have a lot of catching up to do in my studies. Need to make up for lost time. My mother and father didn't know the risks, and I can't stop thinking about them. Caution and experience will stop us from repeating their mistakes. That's all I care to say for now. At least, about this topic. I thought my family's research could help Emerald Stare. That it could banish the Dream Scourge from our lands. Of course, Vidaro wouldn't even give me a chance. He was afraid of history repeating itself. Still, I'm hopeful. This legacy of mine could change Animancy as we know it. And something tells me I'm close to a breakthrough. Closer than my mother ever got. Good question. The idea of finishing my parents' work gives me a warm feeling. But do I want it? I know I've got one lifetime, and I want to do something with it. Aren't you full of questions all of a sudden? This is the one life where I am Giada Castel, Animancer extraordinaire. In the next life, I could be an idiotic tree. I have an obligation to use the time I have. No Animancer has engineered an ecosystem before. Maybe, with a little luck, I could be the first. That little island off of Dawnshore? None that I know of. Ignato Casto led the Valiant Trading Company in the Deadfire Archipelago. Among other things, he invested in the future of Animancy, and apparently he had interests here. He had some ideas about moving great distances in the blink of an eye. As far as I know, he was unsuccessful. Animancy and ambition are a dangerous mixture. Intoxicating, but dangerous. Afraid not. I've heard a lot of contradictory stories coming out of the Deadfire in recent years. Some say Castle is still in power, while others think his second-in-command took over the Valiant Trading Company. You know how it is. Wherever there's conflict, there's bound to be misinformation. Any time. Whether or not Castle succeeded, I don't think it's folly to dream. Now that you mention it, I did try and awaken my soul, to become fully aware of my past lives. Every Animancer tries, and fails. It's practically a rite of passage. So, one evening, I crept into the workshop and cobbled an invention together from spare parts. Amateur work. Then I turned it on. Big mistake. The next thing I knew, it was morning. I was floating in the fountain, and my head was pounding like a drum.
You don't need Animancy for that. Just rum and a crew on shore leave.
That answers a lot of questions, honestly.
Sometimes I wonder, what if it actually worked? What if all of this happened before, and I'm just reliving the events of a past life? I try not to think about it too much. Ah, a simple question with a very complicated answer. The device is attuned to the spiritual energy of the living lands, much like a compass to magnetic north. But essence is chaotic by nature. As you saw with your own eyes, imposing order on chaos is not without risk. Indeed. Don't get me wrong. This invention is a small miracle, but it isn't enough. The phantasmal focus was supposed to be the start of something grand. One lever of a device that exists only in theory. Perhaps it should remain that way. Thanks for talking.
Envoy? Hard to imagine what Giada's going through right now, with her parents and all that. I mean, I have no idea what actually happened there, but she lost her people. She'll need time to get past that. And she deserves it. Right, changing the subject. Thanks for talking.
I wish you could have seen Emerald Stair in better times.
What was it like? I've only passed through a few times over the years.
The evenings were cool. Fish leaped into our nets. Emerald Stair was everything.
Pleasant and abundant. Sounds like the fables old trenchers used to tell about Deadfire. Paradise.
Between the two of us, thank you for helping Yatsley reach that vase. Maybe it seems like nothing to you, but to her it's everything. When you consider how many Orlans and dwarves there are, it's outrageous that we build so high off the ground. She's very special to me. Don't let her size fool you. On the inside, Yatsley stands as tall as a mountain. One of these days she's going to change the world, shake things up, and I'll be at her side, grinning like a fool. Anyway, thanks again. You too.
You know, people don't think steam thistle has any medicinal properties.
Oh?
But if you grind it up and add some clean water, it's decent at protecting your skin from the sun.
That will be a great help on our travels. I detest the sun.
And it also doesn't taste half bad on bread. If you don't mind picking out all the little pricklers.
I think I'll stick to butter. But at least we have options.
Wait, did you ask about that, or was it Kai? Never mind. Carry on.
We usually bring our dead to Nakutadek. But Nakutadek is a place of spiritual power. We're sure to find the answers we seek.
Why do they call it that anyway?
Good question. It means ancient soil. Nakutadek was old when these lands were young. The godless built around Adra pillars. Maybe they've felt a deeper connection to the spirit world. My friend Yatsley is a scholar of the godless. She could tell us more.
Have you spoken to Alfonso? He seems in a low spirits.
You didn't hear? Someone desecrated the shrine.
No. What about the reliquary? It means the world to him.
Gone. But whoever took it is in for a surprise. It's cursed by the mad god Aethus.
Oh, poor bastard.
This is a spiritual haven. Could we remove the animancy equipment, please?
Take it up with the governor.
But he told me to ask you.
In that case, the answer is no.
If you've come to Naku Tedek for a funeral, I'm afraid you're late. Or early, perhaps?
We're actually here to conduct some research.
I see. Well, do remember that this is a holy site, and others may be meditating. Naku Tedek dates back to ancient times. It was, and remains, a mausoleum of the soul. Unfortunately, godless ruins have a strong connection to the other side. They attract unwanted attention. Wherever there's an Audra pillar, you can count on animancers circling it like flies.
An unflattering but not unfair comparison.
When my order first heard of this place, they sent us overseas to guide wayward souls into their next life. More help than you might guess. Reincarnation is not a perfect system. The flaws and inefficiencies are why the field of animancy exists at all. So, in accordance with Berith, we are midwives of a different labor, life into death. Not at all. The Audra pillar is most inspiring. Just watch your step around the equipment and the memorials. One of your machines shocked me. I wasn't even anywhere near it.
Even
Were you wearing anything made of copper? A ring, maybe?
What? I don't know.
You might want to visit Mounto for a soul reading.
What I want is to meditate in peace.
there should be some equipment by the Audra pillar.
We remember these walls. Yes, we have been here.
Well, here we are on the precipice of discovery, armed and ready for mischief.
I'm 2 out of 3 anyway.
Before we get started, indulge me. What are you excited to learn about? Good. We're on the same page. Now, I'm going to tap into the pillar's dormant energy and give it a good shake. In layman's terms, I'm chumming the water and daring the Dream Scourge to show its ugly face. No, but it should get us results. All right. Drawing on the energy of the phantasmal focus, I'll start with a low-frequency ethereal vibration. I've got nothing. You?
Like I could go for some pie.
Shit. All right, adjusting the frequency. The focus is warming up. I hope that's a good sign. Let me know if you feel something. Who knows how your godlike nature will react to this. Brace yourself. We're going to pin this bastard down.
Are you sure about this?
Don't worry, I'm a professional. Now, here goes nothing.
Souls in a circle, a whirlpool. We twine, we twine.
Hey, I think I got something. The focus twitched, like a fishing rod. Is that a door? Not the result I was looking for, but a result nonetheless. Hold on to that feeling. We might need it again. Right before the door opened, I detected something in the Adra. I was right. The Dream Scourge has a point of origin. We can study the affliction from here, but I don't know that we can stop it. Oh dear. How do I explain? Imagine tossing a pebble and hoping it flattens a blade of grass on the other side of the world. That's what you're asking, and it won't work. There's an even greater chance we end up like my parents. Sorry, but no. If we want to stop the Dream Scourge, we still need to learn more about the source of the affliction. I hate to say it, but we'll get better results at the base of the pillar, where the energies are more potent. We shouldn't jump to conclusions. After you.
We gotta see what's down there now.
I did not bring us here to explore. Clearly, something wants to be found.
Does this feel like the start of a cautionary campfire tale to anyone else?
I wonder, did you open the door? Or did the door open for you? Incredible. These ruins are untouched. We are the first to disturb them. When was the last time anyone walked these passages? It must have been centuries. No, millennia. Sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. We'll talk more once we reach the bottom. A little power goes a long way. What have you got there? Some sort of puzzle piece?
Take your best shot. Another glorious battle.
Just a little spark. Goes a long way.
No, the knife that pierces in the dark.
Whatever this is, at least it's dead. 2 points for the godless, none for the abominations.
Aye, aye.
Watch your head. There's a trap right above it. Beautiful. Life into death. To think it survived all these years.
It's surprisingly colorful. Not sure what I expected.
We've seen godless architecture before. I've never seen godless art until now. Just imagine how much has been lost. We should keep moving. I don't mean to slow us down. Charge it up. Power goes a long way. I would not go swimming if I were you, unless you wish to meet your maker. There must be a way across. If not underwater, perhaps over it, with the help of some ice. Just a little spark. Charge it.
Under my...
Here we go! And roll! Nice shot!
Envoy, behind you!
long way.